a little peculiar. And so I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream at the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I said, what's going on? What's going on? Kurt! Zero! Whatever the fuck I called this. Up next is the one bummer panel at every convention. Is my clicker back there? You want a physicist to speak at your funeral. You want the physicist to talk to your grieving family about the conservation of energy, so they will understand that your family has not died. You want your physicist to remind your sobbing mother about the first law of conservation of energy. The law that says no energy gets created and none is destroyed. You want your mother to know that all of your energy, every vibration, every BTU of heat, every wave of every particle that was her beloved child remains with her in this world. You want the physicist to tell your weeping father that amid the energies of the cosmos, you gave as good as you got. And at one point you'd hope the physicist would step down from the pulpit and walk to your broken-hearted spouse there in the pew and tell him that all of the photons that ever bounced off your face, all of the particles whose paths were interrupted by your smile, by the touch of your hair, hundreds of trillions of particles have raced off like children, their ways forever changed by you. And as your widow rocks in the arms of a loving family, may the physicist let her know that all the photons that ever bounced from you were gathered in the particle detectors that are her eyes. That those photons created within her constellations of electromagnetically charged neurons whose energy will go on forever. And the physicist will remind the congregation of how much all of our energy is given off as heat. There may be a few fanning themselves with the programs as he says it. And he will tell them that the warmth that flowed through you in life is still here, still a part of all that we are. Even as we who mourn continue the heat of our own lives. And he wants physicists to explain to those who loved you that they need not have faith. Indeed, they should not have faith. Let them know that they can measure, that scientists have measured precisely the conservation of energy and found it accurate, verifiable, and consistent across space and time. You can hope your family will examine the evidence and satisfy themselves that the science is sound, and that they'll be comforted to know that your energy is still around. According to the law of conservation of energy, not one bit of you is gone. You're just less orderly. Amen. Aaron Freeman wrote that, and I'm just going to start talking because I got a minute. The very first IndyFurCon that I went to, I thought I could just walk from the Greyhound station to the hotel. So, despite bitching and complaining, Quasi drove the 20 miles to come pick me up at 2 in the morning. At that hotel, I met Christopher for the first time. And if any of you guys know the chalice bit that I used to do, that was because he stole that picture from that hotel for me. And to this day, I do not know why. And here in Indy, I met Haku for the first time. And you know, a friendship's gonna go really well when after you meet, you both text a mutual friend, who the fuck was that loud asshole at the party last night? I think conventions are magic. I've been going to these the entirety of my adult life, and I think the true magic is the interactions we have with one another. the jokes we share in the hallway, the laughs we have in these panels, the deep emotional cry you have at 2 a.m. in the hotel lobby. Conventions are always going to be changing. Conventions are always going to be growing and shifting, and they're going to look so different than they do now. But they have been indelibly and irrevocably marked upon by those who have come before us. I am not a religious man by any means, but one thing that gives me just the littlest bit of solace is that the positive energy, not in any like metaphorical sense, not in any practice, but physically, the positive energy I put into these things. My hope is that just a little of that is going to continue on and keep going and inspiring and growing more and more and helping to shape things that I do not even know. My hope is that by giving just a little bit, that I'll continue on long after I'm gone. Class, please raise it with me as we toast to absent friends. Thank you.
Oh, I'm crying. Oh my God.
Holy shit, I have to follow that? Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither, welcome to the Three-Headed Monster. My name is Firr, but if you don't like my music, don't worry. We've got Firr and Firr backstage. And if you don't like what I'm doing, just like Chicago weather, wait about 5 minutes and you'll probably end up stabbed. Now, if you know there's one thing that I enjoy, there's one thing that I love in my life more than anything else. And you all know what it is. It is my maze marijuana. It is marijuana. I love smoking the doobies. I love snorting the spliffs. I love chugging the bong water. It is all good to me. So I'm going to tell you about my very first time. I was in college and my roommate was an asshole, which is why I should have been more suspicious when he offered me a brownie. He told me to take 2. They were small, so I took 3. About a half hour later, he starts laughing his ass off, tells me they were weed brownies, and then he leaves me. So I'm sitting alone on my couch, clutching my knees, thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I going to be okay? Do I have enough water? Do I need to write a will? And then all those thoughts went away. And the only thing that I wanted was a cookie. I didn't have any cookies, but I knew where cookies came from. So I opened up my freezer, and I pulled out a pint of Ben & Jerry's cookie dough. There's some more words, but I don't have time to read that. I opened it up, and oh my God, there's ice cream in here! So I spend the next hour meticulously scooping out every bit of cookie dough, bit by bit, and throwing away the ice cream, because who wants ice cream when you're high? I remember my grandma's recipe exactly. 350 degrees at 13 minutes, not a second more. So I put the cookies in the oven, I started the timer. I remember the last 13 seconds perfectly because my roommate came in. The door opens and he just looks at me like, hey. Hi. You doing okay? Yeah, cookies. Because it takes about an extra 5 seconds for your hands to remind your brain that when you want to pull a cookie sheet out of the oven, you should probably be wearing gloves. Thank you all so very much. The next performer coming up is my mate, the love of my life, Firr. Hi, everyone! I don't have the charisma to go up first, and if I go up last, you guys will just leave early, so here I am in the middle! Anyway, a lot of people say I do nothing but gross out humor, so I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. That's right, my genitalia. Who's ready for ball cancer jokes? Woo! So I'm fine now. You're allowed to laugh at these. Please laugh at these. My doctor was absolutely fantastic. Right before the surgery, he asked me if I was interested in getting a prosthetic put in. I said, Doc, why stop at 1? Can I get like 2 or 3? I want to be like David Bowie in Labyrinth. Janice asked me where else to get that. We'll give you that reference. Oh man, the nurses were super nice to me when I was doing recovery. But the thing is, they would give me those like little weird platitudes that don't really mean anything. Like, oh, you're so brave.